This is Kristocentric Station, playing at Kristocentric.com. Kristocentric Station, the Kingdom Promoter.
Good morning, everybody, and you're welcome to the Kristocentric Station for the ultimate Christian show on kingdom finance and money. We are live to talk on the Kristocentric Station, and this is the Kingdom Finance Show. And we are back to discuss the anatomy of Esau's financial prosperity, and we are with the financial evangelist. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about Esau, the unlikely person in the Bible that many believers overlook, see as somebody who lost his birthright, lost the key to success, and was destined for failure. And, that idea for these weeks, the financial evangelist has been breaking it down and debunking a lot of them, bringing up points that many people seem to overlook. And he's back with us in the studio to continue this point. You are welcome.
Thank you very much, Edwin. I'm so excited to be here again. Yeah.
So I think we are still talking about the anatomy of Esau's financial prosperity, right?
Yes, exactly. And unfortunately, today is going to be our last episode on Esau. Yes, and the kind of revelations and insights that we've been learning from Esau's life is just so amazing. Yes, even personally, even as I make the presentations, I go back and I think over most of the points and the issues again. That all these things are in the Bible, and all we need to do is to be able to sit down to study them, and God will guide us on our path. Edwin, the interesting thing about the Bible is that there are revelations in there. Mm-hmm. But until you make time to dig deep and get them out, you could be in a situation for 20 years, for 10 years. And you'll just be praying and praying and praying. But God will just be looking at you, smile and say, the answers are in the book. The answers are right in the book.
It's not a prayer matter.
It's not a prayer matter, So we need to study. That's the essence of all that we're doing. Yeah, so Edwin, like you rightly said, the anatomy of Esau's financial prosperity. Even why anatomy? I mean, those who are students of biology will understand what anatomy is. Anatomy, you're trying to, cut the cockroach into different parts and see the labelings of the various parts of the cockroach or the frog. Those of us who did biology and try to label them and see the functions, and all that. So that's what we are doing with Esau. We are dissecting, we are breaking down the various portions of Esau's life and finding out what exactly made this guy successful. Because let's be honest, the guy lost the blessing that's supposed to make him stand out and prosper and succeed, but his life ended well. So how did it happen? So we started by saying that there were a few practices or decisions in Esau's life that made him financially successful. The first one we spoke about was diligence, hard work, and skill. That's in Genesis 25, verse 27. The Bible introduces Esau as a man of skill. And Edwin, you remember we spoke a lot about skill and the need for us to specialize, not just to try to, be a jack of all trades. I'm not against being a jack of all trades, but please be very good in one or two things. It helps a lot. And you must become the best in your industry. That must be everybody's agenda. Yes, when I started writing, my target was to write such that I can be considered as one of the best in my field. Yes, and I can say on authority that when it comes to Christian business and finance, currently in anywhere in the world, when you pick my books, you will see that I stand out as one of the best people in that area. When I started off initially, I had to write on wide range of subjects. I write on this, I write on that. No, then a few years ago, God ministered to me, why don't you pick this area and focus on it? And I've been doing that very, very well. I have close to 60 books now, a lot of them along the subject
60?
of this. Yes.
Wow.
Well-written books, 60 of them. I started writing in 2013. Yeah, so if I have 60, it shouldn't be surprising. 2013. My first book was How to Keep Going When the Going Gets Tough. So I decided that I would learn writing. So I collaborated, I learned, I chased people who were writing and way ahead of me. Up to today, most of them are still my friends, and I work with them very closely. I bought books by the best authors in the world. I've been buying them for over 15 years, reading their books from T.D. Jakes to John Maxwell to Otabo to Taki Boy to Bishop Charles Leginasare to Archbishop Duncan Williams to Istudanaba. All the best guys, ministry, business, finance, I buy their books. I read, I study them. I wanted to become the best in my field. So what am I saying? Irrespective of the level of your education, the size of your eyes, your head, your shape, whether slim or bolo, all those things are insignificant to your success if you can master your game. You may even not have a nice face. When you succeed, people will say that you are very nice. You're very handsome, you're very beautiful. So you need to work hard. Don't worry about your looks. Number 2, I spoke about strategic settlement. I love this. Genesis 32 verse 3. Edom left home after his brother stole his blessing, and he pitched his tent at near Mount Seir, called Edom. And according to history, Edom is very close to Jordan and Israel and close to the Mediterranean Sea. And they are at a place where there is a lot of porting activity. Porting means that they have a port, a very busy port with trade route. And now, currently with the war between US and Iran and Israel ongoing, and then the Strait of, how do you call it? Where the oil vessels and other transportation stuff pass. Most of us didn't know how successful and how rich, wealthy Iran was until this war. And then I saw some of the statistics on that particular trade route, and I'm amazed that how come Iran is the one that controls this route? And they could decide to get angry and just close the place. And about close to over 20% of the world's transportation in terms of oil, gas, food, and other valuables pass through that route. Yeah. That was the kind of place that Esau went to settle, and it made him very, very successful. So please, you may be living in Kumasi and things are not going well. Charlie, follow God's leading and go back to Tamale or come back to Kasua or Accra or East Legon Hills, and life will be fine with you. Edwin, on a more practical note, a few years ago, I was having some wild challenges. Life was very tough for me. So by the leading of God, I got married and I relocated to Kumasi. I stayed in Kumasi close to 4 years. By the time I came back to Accra, things were fine for me. Most of the companies I founded when I was in Kumasi have been doing very well to date. Yes. So I just knew that around that season of my life, God wanted me to relocate. Yeah. So these things are very practical. Yeah. There are people who are in Ghana here, it's not all well with them. They've been to Canada, and if you hear the way they are doing so well. Others have been in Canada sleeping on the street for 10 years. They got back, live in Tamale, live in Takoradi, and today they have businesses all over the place. So direction matters. Where God wants you to be matters. You can't just decide to live anywhere. Even where you buy a land, where you secure your business, pray about it and ask for God's direction. Number 3, divine presence. We also mentioned that Esau had God's presence. Edwin, this part of the sermon has not been preached well. Esau lost what was his birthright, which means that the firstborn, the spiritual advantage that comes with being the firstborn. But he came back and the father prayed for him. Yes, that is in Genesis chapter 27, verse 38 to 40. So it wasn't like the guy lost every blessing. Sometimes we pretty look like he was cursed, he didn't get anything, the brother took all the blessing. No, he was blessed by his father. So he carried a blessing. That divine presence was also part of the reason why he became financially successful. Number 4, perseverance. When the brother took his blessings away, he came back to the father and said, Father, I don't want to leave empty-handed. Bless me also. And the Bible said Isaac laid the hands on him, prayed for him, and that is how come the guy became successful. Number 5, I spoke about leadership. I love this, Edwin. Edwin, I've realized that in this world, no matter the vision God gives you, you can't do it alone. you need to work with people. Unfortunately, you have to work with people, some of whom you don't like. Yes. So leadership is ability to bring everybody on board and work towards a vision to achieve it. So if you are the type who's going to be like me, I don't like short people. And me, I don't like those who are dark. And me, I don't like airways. I don't like nordness. I don't like these people. So you are always looking for your kind to work with. The vision God has given to you, sometimes you will need people who are very stubborn to help you achieve your vision. You will need people who are not too educated, but they are very smart to be part of the team. So if you're going to be like, I only want to work with university graduates, I always want to work with this. I don't like people who don't have this, they don't have this. No, you have to take it. You bring different people on board to help you achieve your dream. Other than that, you will struggle in life. Esau did well because he brought people. When he was going to meet his brother Jacob, over 400 people were with him. What will cause one man to be followed by over 400 men, excluding children and women? And not just 400 people, different kings and different chiefs, all following this guy. Who was following Jacob when he was going to meet Esau? He's his own family with a few people. The guy was on a different level. So I finished those strategic keys, and then I also went to look at the core financial lessons. Number one, I spoke about impulse buying. Most of us are guilty. I was just talking to you, Edwin. I went to Kaswa Market yesterday. Of course, my mother's a queen mother there, and I went just to visit and just check one or two things in the market and all that, and also to shop. But I didn't really plan to shop the way I wanted to shop. But I realized by the end of the day, I've exceeded my budget. That's what we're talking about. Impulse buying. If you don't control how you spend your money, no matter how much money you make, your financial temperature will always be hot. If you don't learn to control your cravings, your desires, your passions, God will make a lot of money pass through your hands, but you always have a high financial temperature. Financial attitudes from Esau. Number two, I spoke about know the value of your true asset. So many of us don't know the value of a true asset. You've been searching for work for years. God has opened a door. You are now working in the company. You go there late. You speak to your boss anyhow. You don't respect your colleagues. You don't respect your boss. You behave like when they sack you today, you'll be fine. Meanwhile, when they sack you today, you have nothing to lay hands on. You don't know the true value of your asset. You go to other meetings late. When it comes to the work that feeds you, you do it anyhow. So the work that feeds you is not a priority for you. It's going out with friends and chilling and going to places and do things. That is what you consider important. I'm so sorry for you. That's very bad. So know the value of your true asset. Number three, financial lessons from Esau. I spoke about contentment over constant craving. You must learn how to be content in life. Yes. There's nothing wrong going on demonstrations and asking for salary increase. But how about telling yourself that this 1,500 I'm taking now, I can make the best out of it, and praying to God to give you wisdom on how to manage the 1,500 and make the best out of it. Instead of always complaining and making your face sad and not even going to church and being moody because your salary is just 10,000 cedis, 5,000 cedis, 25,000 cedis, it's never enough. Why don't you think about how to make the best out of that 25,000, that 3,500 or that 1,500 cedis? That is where it should be. The Bible talks about contentment, and we must make people understand that life is in levels. There is a time you sleep under the kind of fan that when you put the fan on to be making noise in your ear, chupuru, 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 chupuru. Then there is a time you sleep under air conditioning. There are levels in life. Nobody arrives all of a sudden. No matter how much you are in a hurry to give birth to a newborn baby, you must go through the 9 months. The baby must be born. The baby must go through the 6-month exclusive breastfeeding. You can't give birth to a baby today and then you start giving the child banku or kokonte with granule soup. It doesn't work like that. So push hard, but be content with what you have. Celebrate, be happy in life. Then I also spoke about plan long term. Esau came back from the farm and was looking for food to eat. And asked myself, you'll be going to the farm. You will not always catch animals. Why don't you prepare some food? And so when you come back, Charlie, you can get something to settle yourself down. But the guy didn't think ahead, and he was very, very hot. Then I'll leave it here. Then we'll take a few questions and discuss. I also spoke about patience. Patience being a valuable asset. Patience being a valuable asset. As we talk about Esau, Edwin, this is very important. Yes, this is very, very important to me. And I want to say this again. Most of the prayers we are praying, or that most of us pray, it will take time for them to be answered. Yes. It will take time. Sometimes we think when we get the best pastors to lay hands and pray on us, the next day everything will change. Most of us have received prophecies, and sometimes we don't understand why the prophecies have not come to pass. Of course, there are exceptional cases where some demons may go for a meeting and decide to be using your destiny to please your scaling. That's a different case, family people. That's a different thing. But I am saying that most of the things in your life will take time. It will take, and be ready for it. It's not always that the devil is, delaying your destiny. It's not always that the devil is fighting you. Witches and wizards are pulling you back. Most of the things in your life, they are by divine timing. So patience is a valuable asset. It's one of the things that we also learn from the life of Esau. So, and probably finally, I want to talk about the fact that we must hold lightly to earthly treasures. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 21, Jesus said, where your treasure is, that's where your heart will also be. Edwin, we talk about money all the time. Of course, the way I talk about money is different from the other people, the way they preach about money. I, the financial evangelist, I don't preach about people just getting cars, houses, and things, and being financially independent and stuff. No, that's not the message I preach. My financial evangelism is about people using Bible principles to get money the right way, and then also spending their money the way God wants them to spend their money, particularly channeling their resources to finance the preaching of the gospel. That is my focus. Yes. So on that note, I'm also saying that we must hold lightly to earthly treasures. Esau took food in exchange of his destiny. That destiny today could be our Christian life. If you have to do something that is wrong, sinful, to get money, will you do it as a Christian? That's a question we need to ask. You are suffering, you need help, and you can do something wrong, and you will get money to take you out of your suffering. Will you be long-suffering enough to go through the process? Or you wait on God for a breakthrough? That's a question to be answered later. Thank you so much, Edwin.
Wow. It's so much to even process. It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
But let me find out. There are people who say they can't do one thing and succeed. You have to do this, a side business here, in addition to whatever you're doing. And you spoke about being focused, like not being a jack of all trades. What will you say to people like this?
You can do one thing and succeed, but let's be honest with ourselves. Edwin, you are very gifted and talented. If I ask you of your top 5 talents, you can mention them for me. But if you're very honest with yourself, you realize that there's one that stands out. So you do that one that stands out, it puts you as a point, then you now have the platform to do others. Am I right? So my number 1 talent is writing. Mm-hmm. I launched my first book in 2013. From there, people were asking me, Nelson, how can I get my book published? I need help me. Then I started MBN Books, now MBN House Publishers. Today I publish books for authors all over the world, including people in the US, Canada, Rwanda, South Africa, Dubai, Qatar, and several other places. So I started with writing.
Yeah.
Yes. Was writing giving me all the best monies? Really no. But publishing is doing better for me. That's how life is. You see, if you don't have the discipline to master one thing, succeeding in others will be very difficult. So if you cannot master and focus on one thing, you have put a cap on how high you can go. Yes, you can apply this to any area. Yes, you can apply it to any area. I mean, Joe Meta may be doing some side business and other stuff today, but the thing he has always done or started with and focused on is music. Yes, he may have a farm, I don't know, but it's always been music. Mm-hmm. From music, he has done other things. So the rule is this: focus on one, excel in it, then you branch into other areas. Maybe along the journey of life, sometimes your man is hungry here and there, so you try to do other things to secure yourself. It's not a sin. Just something to balance yourself, manage, that's fine. But I'm saying that majority of your focus in life should be geared towards mastering one thing. Even in ministry, you must focus on one thing. Yes, you must be known as operating a prophetic ministry. You must be known as an apostle. You must be known as an evangelist. Mm-hmm. Yes. There are evangelists who have done well in ministry. There are apostles who have done well in ministry. Unlike how some people erroneously made us believe that everybody must become a prophet, give by forth prophecies, and extort money from people before you can build a big ministry. There are a lot of prophets who are struggling in ministry today because somebody told them that until you become a prophet, you can break through. That's wrong. Specialize. The way God has made us, if you specialize in what He has given you, you excel. Whether it's cooking, watching, or selling TZ.
Wow.
Yes.
You made a point earlier about once you are talented, you can definitely excel.
Yes.
There are people who say that your background plays a pivotal role in how high you can go. Yeah. if you come from a wealthy background, it's less likely you'll be poor because from your background you have money. Someone coming from a poor background, will face a different kind of challenge. He doesn't have that kind of support system. So with people with this kind of mindset, how would you address it?
If you have a good background, that is like a springboard. Yes, but your ability to use a springboard is determined by how skillful you are. So if you are from a wealthy home and you don't learn the disciplines of life, hard work, how to control your passions and your desires, how to manage time. If you're from a wealthy home and you don't have these things, you cannot go far. It's a reason why most wealthy people are unable to get their sons and daughters to manage their enterprises and ministries after they are dead and gone. Because the disciplines and stuff are not there, though they have a solid foundation. If you're from a poor background and you know how to master time, you have mastered the discipline of hard work. You can work and work without getting tired. You can work with people because you have respect and honor. You will succeed faster and do well than the person from a wealthy home. Yes. So a background is insignificant when it comes to success because you determined the background. I may not come from a home where there is wealth, but I have values that have become my background: respect, honor, dignity, godliness, righteousness. That has become my own background. The other person has a background as money, but doesn't have dignity, respect, hard work, and all those things. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So you build your background. Usually when we talk about background, we all think that background is money. Background is not money. There are people whose parents were not that rich, but they give them values of respect, values of honor, values of dignity, values of hard work. As a result of that, they played on those values as a springboard. Today, they are very wealthy and rich. There are people whose parents gave them values only as money, as a background, but they don't know how to work hard. They talk to people anyhow. They don't know how to manage their time. They don't even know how to manage money. Today, they have squandered everything, and the family legacy is back to zero.
There's this question that's playing in my mind. You mentioned you had to move to Kumasi for almost 4 years. 4 years.
Yes.
You were led by God to move.
Yes.
How does a person know if it is God speaking to them or just their flesh whenever they come to that serious decision-making junction?
Everybody can tell the voice of their father. I can tell the voice of their mother. I'm sure, Edwin, if I bring 5 women here, I think you were posting your mother's over the weekend or something.
Yeah, yesterday.
And then I said these 5 women to talk. And then I asked you, Edwin, which of these people is your mother? Will you struggle to make it out?
I wouldn't.
So why would you say you've been a Christian for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, 5 years, and I don't know God's voice? Then what kind of relationship do you have? No, you should be able to know it when God is leading you. You don't need any big bishop, any big prophet. God is your father. You have a daily devotion with your father. When he talks to you, you will know. Number 1, you have some certain peace in your heart concerning the decision. Number 3, the idea will keep occurring to you several times in your life. Sometimes God may even speak through certain people about the issue. Indirectly, God is just telling you that this thing is real. You've got to do something about it. When you go to wait on God, that particular feeling and message will keep coming to you all the time. God is talking to you about something. Yeah, so if you have a good relationship with God, when he gives you direction, it will not be difficult to follow. Yeah, just like the way we talk to our fathers and we know their voice. Yes, the sheep must know the voice of its shepherd. There is no fast rule to this. Of course, there may be cases where you may have to go for counseling and other things if you're not too sure about it.
Yeah.
Those are exceptional cases. But in most instances, God does not need a third party to deal with you. And if you're honest with yourself as a Christian, whatever God is saying, you will know that this is the voice of God.
Wow. Earlier spoken about curbing impulse buying. What steps can a person take to curb the desire to act on impulse buying?
So impulse buying basically stems from 2 things. Number 1, the desire to just have the things. And number 2, probably to prove a point to other people. So somebody could decide to go for a loan to buy a new car. Meanwhile, he or she could manage the car that he or she has. But you want people to you want to look a certain way in the eyes of people. So you buy things that are not necessary. That's impulse buying. So impulse buying is controlled by number 1, being true and honest to yourself. That this is what I have. This is what I can manage now. If you don't accept that, you will always be buying and buying and buying. So for instance, there is food in the house. Enough food for you to eat. Then so I feel like eating outside today. And it's not like if you don't eat outside today, you will die or you fall sick. But you just think that there's money on you, so you must go and spend it outside. That is impulse buying. Do you get it? And impulse buying is not even buying asset. Most of the impulse buying for consumptions. Do you get it? So to discipline yourself and impulse buying, number one, you must be honest with yourself. Number two, you must have a list. You must operate by target. Every 3 months, I'll buy new dresses worth 2,000 Ghana cedis. The whole of 2026, I will not spend more than 5,000 cedis. I will not spend more than 10,000 cedis or so amount in buying new dresses. This year, I'm not going to change my car. You must have a goal and target for what you want to do at every point in time. Yes, other than that, you go to the market and see the things and you want to buy, because that's a human desire, the craving. I want to get this, I want to get that, I want to get that. So it's not easy, but as you start gradually, especially working with a list and a budget, over time, you're able to discipline yourself and you stick to it.
At what point does it, you mentioned patience, being patient. At what point does it move from you being patient to you being stagnant? As in, you've been at a place for X number of years. You feel you are being patient, but rather you should have moved from there to somewhere else. At what point?
That's a very smart question. Thank you very much. And I think that our listeners will be very interested in this. So there are certain indicators. Number one is your mentality and your capacity. If you have a low mentality and a low capacity, you will not be able to tell if your life is even stagnating. One of the things that changed my life was after senior high school in 2002 at Bishop Eman College. I read a lot. I invested majority of my time in reading. So I read personal development books, I read finance books, I read ministry. The more I read these books, the more I get to know that there's a lot I need to do. What will happen if I don't read these books? I look at my friends around and say, oh, Charlie, I'm doing well, I'm managing, it is well. Gradually, God will take me there. But my mind got opened. And once my mind got open, my eyes got open, I realized that I could do more than what I'm currently doing. So I now started setting my own goals. This year I want to do this. This year I want to do that. This year I want to do this. So when my mind was open, I now started stretching my potential. Other than that, I would have remained at where I was. Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 18, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. So for you to be able to tell whether you are moving forward or you are stagnant or moving backwards, you must constantly develop your capacity. In ministry, if you check in Ghana here, all the guys who have built great successful ministries, they often travel outside Ghana. They go to Nigeria, they attend Shiloh, they go to Kenneth Hagin Ministries, his conferences, they go here, they go there. The more they meet other people, the more they attend conferences, the more their minds are challenged. Aish! I'm doing small work in Ghana. Let me come back here and expand my territory. I could do more than what I'm doing. How did it happen? They got inspired because they challenged the brain. So your growth and your development as a person is more function on your mind and your mindset. So if you want to start growing and developing and expanding yourself, you must start working on the brain. Because the brain will tell you, you are okay, Nelson, be relaxed, be where you are. But when you expose yourself, you get that inspiration that, no, I could do more than I am doing now. You get it? Yeah, so if you're not able to work on your mind, it will be difficult to tell. If you are stagnant, you're making progress, you're at the same level. What you may end up doing is comparing your life to other people around you. Yes, because you haven't challenged your mind. Read, study, research. It will change the way you think about a lot of things. It will stretch you.
Wow.
Yes.
So they need to read.
Yes, you must read.
They must meet other people, feel inspired.
Yes, you must do that. No, you can't be, I'm a journalist, and the whole 2025, you didn't go for any journalism course. No refresher course. The whole year, you didn't read any book. You say, I'm a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur. You don't read any book on business. You may be winning awards today and making sales today. In the next 20 years, your business may not survive. And that's the thing sometimes people are so... I see a lot of entrepreneurs who are not interested in reading. They are not interested in research. And so, see, we have seen rich people in this country. There were people who were rich people 20 years ago in Accra here. Today, all their businesses are down. because they think that they don't understand how mental capacity and development is connected to business success.
Yeah.
All the guys you know who have not had much education but are doing well in business, do you know the kind of board of directors they have? Do you know the kind of CEOs they have? They didn't go to school, yes. They have hired people with PhD, they have hired people with masters in specialized areas, and they are running their businesses for them. So you must develop your mind. That's what Paul was. Why did Paul write many books than all the other guys? The guy studied at the feet of one of the best. He was always reading and researching. It's not anointing. Paul's writing most of those books. It's not anointing. Yes, the guy was studying. The guy was learning. The guy was reading. He will instruct Timothy several times. When you are coming, bring some of the books, man. We need some books to read, man. Some books of money and all that,
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Before you draw the curtains on this, do you have any words for the listeners?
My word for the listeners today is 25:27. Genesis 25:27. Esau was a skillful man. I don't know why the Bible decided to highlight that portion, but I love that portion of the Bible. He was a skillful hunter.
Skillful.
Edwin, if you become very skillful, most of your struggles in your life will end. Yes. I know there are exceptional cases, you are skillful, but you need some prayers, you need some favor and all that. Every Christian is favor, every Christian has the anointing. If you are skillful, you carry God's presence already.
Yeah.
You will serve president.
Yeah.
I've published books for people that I don't know how else I could have been friends with those people, but for the fact that they realized that Nelson could do an excellent publishing work for them. One of the best pastors in Rwanda. He works close to the president of Rwanda. I published about 5 books for him. I've done that for 7 different states in the US, all over the world. Because he said, this guy, he will do an excellent work for you. Let's take our raw talent to exceptional levels. Let's build competence and expertise. I mean, when you are talking, people must know that this guy has authority over the subject.
Yeah.
When you are working, people must know that this is not a case of Matra Makwe. The guy has mastered this game. That's my word for our listeners.
So, that brings us to the end. This is the end of the anatomy of Esau's financial prosperity, right?
Yes. Next week we'll start a new series.
So, you just heard from the financial evangelist. Next week we are starting a whole new series.
Yes.
So, if you've missed any of the episodes of the anatomy of Esau's financial prosperity, kindly head to the Kristocentric Station YouTube channel and watch all the videos, get all the salient points, and it will be a blessing on your life and teach you the things you need to know to excel financially. And that brings us to the end of the Kingdom Finance Show, live on the Kristocentric Station with the financial evangelist, Mr. Nelson Semanu Wando Koko. My name is Yeboah Edwin Techi, and I have to tell you, next week we have something more exciting coming your way. Stay blessed and stay tuned to Kristocentric Station for all your sanctified content. Enjoy the rest of your day.